Get my 6. What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid, the absolute most successful homesteading channel on the internet that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading. I want to thank you all for your support of this channel, of the Homesteading Off the Grid Facebook page, and the Sick Twisted Humor Facebook page. Between the three, we've just gone over 1 million subscribers and followers, combining all three. Never thought it would happen. It was always about just taking care of my family, providing, our necessities. You guys, with your support, have allowed us to live the dream, and I want to thank all of you. So I was in town a few days ago, earlier in the week, and I was running. I'll do that a lot. I'll go so that I don't always have to run the same place, same courses. And I had finished up my run. I did like my 10-minute cool down walk, and I was going back to the truck, and some middle-aged guy in a truck was coming by. He slowed down. I just happened to look over. And he says, "Hey, man, I love the jokes, but I miss the stories." And I said, "Tune in on Friday." He said, "All right," and gave me a thumbs up and kept going. And I chuckled. Those things happen sometimes. But here it is Friday, and I was like, I got to keep my word. I don't know that guy. I don't know who that guy was. But hey, guy, thanks for kind of putting a fire in my butt. What I've done is I'm going to come out here and I'm going to read 3 different stories. One story from each of the 3 volumes of True Hauntings. People's real experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, UFOs, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, all kinds of cryptids. These are available in print and or Kindle on Amazon, or you can get autographed copies from our Etsy store. The links to both of those places are in the description box below. FYI, I mentioned the Homesteading Off the Grid Facebook page. Dearly's kind of running that as like a side project. She put a reel on there the other day. I water our fruit orchards every week. This place is gorgeous. I really need to do a walk around to show you how well everything's grown. But it only looks like that because we put in the work. We do the effort. It takes a couple of hours a day of watering. And I do it because the results are worth it. And I'm not lazy. I was out watering the fruit orchard the other day, and I found a teeny tiny little eastern painted turtle that had just hatched that was crawling back to the pond, so I made a reel of that. So check that out on the Homesteading Off the Grid Facebook page. Now, mentioning Dearly, as she would say, with no further ado, let's get into the stories, because it's all about the story, right? I brought my grandpa reading glasses. Okay, my old hippie reading glasses. So, I'm just picking stories at random. Hopefully I haven't read them before. This one's coming from Volume 1, True Hauntings Volume 1. It's called We Have Visitors. Okay? It says, "Here's my UFO story. Just keep it anonymous, please. UFOs, I've seen many, but this is the best one. I like to stand on my porch and gaze at the stars. I love nature and feel drawn to it. One night, I was stargazing, looking out over my neighbor's property when I noticed a bright, whitish light. Nothing too unusual about that, as they have a floodlight on their outbuilding. But then the light, rose above the building, and I noticed the red blinking lights. Must be another airplane, I say to myself. I'm so tired of everything in the sky being called airplanes. This airplane hovered for a few moments, rising slowly, gently wobbling a little as it did so. Then it started moving toward me slowly until it was so close it had moved around my next door neighbor's tree. That's when the humming started. You know the sound, that sort of womp, womp, womp noise they make. Then it got even closer, hovering maybe 15 feet above the ground and maybe 20 to 25 feet away from me. It stayed there for a few moments, long enough for me to wonder if it could see me. I was starting to feel warm as I observed every detail of this thing. I wondered if the warmth was from the UFO or just a warm breeze. Then it got even closer. I wasn't imagining the warmth. It was hot, and it crept even closer, and I got the definite feeling I was being watched, enough that it felt ominous, like it had some intent for me. It was the first and only time I've ever been scared of one. They don't normally get that close. I was scared enough that I backed up with my hand on the doorknob. If you want to say hi, that's fine, but please don't abduct me, I said. I was afraid it might. I've never had one get that close. How close? I swear, Mr. Lake, I easily could have hit the damn thing with a rock if I'd had one in my hand. I'm not lying. I have no reason to. After a bit of it staring me down, it backed up, rose, hovered a moment or two more, and then went off, changing direction as it did so, until it flew off out of sight. Honestly, I was just glad to have my feet still on the ground. If you want to know what it looked like, it was blue and round, sort of dome-shaped. The underneath part was silver metallic and spinning slowly with white stripes of light showing beneath the panels. On the back side, it had a fin like a 50s car. It even had 3 red taillights. And on top, it had a smaller whitish yellowish dome, much smaller than the body, about the right size to be a cockpit, maybe. The end. Well, you know, at least in our part of the world, Central Virginia, the weather is awesome. I mean, I was outside having coffee on the porch at 5:30 this morning, watching the fruit orchard. We've got a nosy doe coming through there, but not sponsored. Let me tell you, invisible fence, deer, and rabbit repellent works. She's not eating my trees this year because I'm keeping them sprayed. But it's nice to see her out there. And then she goes on and she eats stuff that isn't sprayed and that is not my fruit trees. And then we're staying out until well after dark many nights, having campfires, working in the garden until, it's too dark to see. But this is the time to get out and look to the heavens, man. Who knows what you might see? You might end up with a story like this person's. All right, let's move on to True Hauntings, Volume 2. You guys hear that? There's something walking around back there. Okay, they love to come out and hear these stories. Keep watching. You never know what you may or may not see back there. Here's a good one. And this was turned in by Sandra V, who lives down there in Texas, if memory serves. I won't even try to pronounce her last name. It's Figueros or something like that. It's called Not the Magic School Bus Ghost Story. This is creepy. I remember editing it when we were putting it in this book. Not the Magic School Bus Ghost Story. From True Hauntings, Part 2, Volume 2. Sandra V here again. I have another true ghost story. I drive a school bus for an ISD in Central Texas. We have a bus that was built almost 35 years ago and it still runs. I have been here in this district since 2020. This old bus was my route bus for 2 years. Old bus number 15, no air conditioner, hot in the summer, even with the windows down. October of 2020, I discovered that old bus 15 has a secret, and I learned the secret with my boss and co-workers. I'm just going to make sure there's no dead limbs above me real quick. No, I don't see any. Tell you, if you're in the woods and it's windy, make sure there's no dead limbs above you. On with the story. I saw that when I looked up for just a second. Listen to me, but watching this area right here. Back in October of 2020, I had come back from my morning route, and during post-trip, noticed that one of my back seats had a leg that was bent, so the seat was crooked. I rode it up, and our mechanics changed out the seat. That afternoon, when I arrived back at the bus lot and parked my bus, I was walking away from my bus, and my boss yelled out, "Hey, Pinky." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Did you check your bus for students?" I told him, "Yes, sir." He said, "Oh, yeah? Then who is that?" As I turned around, at least 10 people plus myself saw a blonde-headed little girl with a blue bow on her head and a pretty blue dress staring at us out the back window. I was thinking, where in the hell did she come from? I ran up onto the bus and saw her. I told her, "I am so sorry I happened to miss you." She stared and shook her head no. As I walked to the back of the bus to talk to her, she disappeared in front of me. I turned to walk back out, and my boss yelled again, "Are you just going to leave her there?" I turned and looked, and there she was again. I told my boss it's a ghost. He said I was full of shit. I told him, "Then you go look for yourself." He goes inside the bus and tries to talk to her. No answer from her. He approaches, and she vanishes in front of him. He screams, runs off the bus. 10 minutes later, he tears out of the parking lot. My co-workers and I laughed. I explained to them that spirits will show themselves to me from time to time. No one disbelieved me because there were a few of us there. Interestingly enough, I found out that that seat was removed from a school bus that a train had hit. The only casualty had been a little blonde girl with a blue dress and hair bows to match. We still have this bus. It belongs to a cheerleading coach. People still see her even today. It's sad, really, but if that little spirit finds comfort being on that bus, then so be it. The end. There's a short but sweet ghost story. Excuse me, I got a bit of pollen or a gnat stuck in my throat. I didn't bring my water with me. So there's something fascinating around here about him, her, it, or they. That typically when they show up, they're accompanied by crows. And I heard that one. So I see something. Let's change angles here for this last story. It's a watcher. So you watch. I'm going to do my best not to block your view. Yeah, you just keep looking up there. The pollen isn't as bad as it was a month ago, but I can sense there's still some out there. Spring and fall. Fall gets me when the goldenrod comes out. That's when it's worse for me. So, let's see here. What do we got from True Hauntings Volume 3? Personal stories of real experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, cryptids, aliens, and UFOs. Let's see what we got. And by the way, guys, these are placed on hold. So if you've submitted stories for these in the past, please don't do that for now because I'm working on something I've been working on for a few years that I hope to have out by the end of the year. Okay, that's another UFO story. I've read that one on here. This was a really weird one. This one was submitted anonymously. I remember this one. It's crazy. You think about ghosts, you think of like little girls or humans, people that have perished and some sort of energy remains. We don't often think about, you remember last time I was reading from these, there was a house that was the haunted house was haunted by the house itself. Sometimes animals are the subject matter of this sort of phenom. And did you see that shadow? I'm telling you, we're not alone out here. Keep looking back in this area. There was like something dark just went by there. Caught it out of the corner of my eyes. It's called Ghost Mouse. Submitted anonymously. Hi, Kevin. I don't know where this story would fall into place, but it's certainly one worth being included in a volume of the wonderful series you've got going here. I've read the first couple of volumes so far, and though I think it's obvious a couple of folks have made up some entertaining yarns, probably because they wanted to hear you reading their stories on your YouTube channel, the ones that have been submitted anonymously, at least most of them, sound believable, but mostly because they sound so unbelievable. I know that makes sense in an odd way. Yes, you think like I do. So here's what we have going on at my house. I believe we have a ghost mouse, and no, I'm not crazy. Well, maybe I am, because others have seen it too, including people that aren't part of our family. Here's how it works. When something goes missing and we can't find it, our ghost mouse leads us to it. I'll use the first time I ever saw it as an example. I'd lost my car keys. Fortunately, we had another set, so I wasn't stranded. But about a week after I'd lost them, I saw, out of the corner of my eyes, a mouse run underneath and behind this little end table we keep beside our back door, just inside the house. It has a large ornamental bowl on it that was supposed to be ornamental, but which has become a junk collector. It's where we throw our loose change after coming home, store receipts, junk mail, etc. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. Most people have something like this. Actually, we have something almost identical, a little table by the back door with a big giant soup bowl on it. And it's filled with junk and loose change. Anyway, I'm not a girly girl, but I didn't want to deal with the mouse, so I told my husband about it. He found a flashlight and looked up underneath the little table. It has a drawer in it that sits only about an inch above the floor at the bottom. And he didn't see the mouse, but lo and behold, he found my missing car keys. We put out mouse traps, the very inhumane sticky glue kind, because it's all they had at the store, but we never caught any mice. A couple of months later, my daughter once again lost her ear pods. We looked and looked and we could not find them. On the very day that I was about to buy her new ones, I saw the mouse again, and it ran into the cushions of our love seat. My husband wasn't home, so I started ripping the cushions off the love seat, and lo and behold, I didn't find a mouse, but I found my daughter's missing ear pods. Okay, so I know it would be easy to write all of this off to a pack rat, but that's not what's going on. Because just last week, my son had a friend over, and out of the blue, he says, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" "I'd been passing through the room carrying laundry to the washroom. I just saw a mouse," he said, "but it totally disappeared." "Where?" I asked, and he said, "Right there," and he pointed to the center of the living room. I walked to where he had pointed and got down on my knees. There was nothing there for a mouse to hide under. I put my face down almost against the carpet, and lo and behold, I found the contact lens my husband had lost the night before. Kevin, I do not know how to explain what in the hell it is we have going on in our house with this mysterious ghost mouse, as we've all come to call it, leading us to the things we've lost or misplaced, but honestly, we don't mind it too much as long as it stays a mouse and doesn't morph into something else, like a lion or a bear. All the best, and keep up the good work with your YouTube channel, whatever the hell it's about. The end. So there you go. 3 stories for the anonymous guy who drove by after my morning jog. I'll admit it. I used to say I'm a runner. I'm a jogger. But whatever. At least I'm moving. Keep moving, because when you sit down and you stay down, that's when it starts to end. The end has already begun. So I hope you enjoyed these stories. Again, you can get those books on Amazon in print or Kindle. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't watched long, go back through the playlist. Watch for ghost stories. I've read so many stories on here. Again, thank you for all your support from what we've got going on here and what we're doing on Facebook. Again, we've just gone over 1 million followers / subscribers. Never thought that would happen, but it has. It's happened. It's amazing, and I've got all of you to thank. So as of this recording, we're going into Memorial Day weekend. Be safe, people, and remember the reason for the holiday. It's not about barbecues and concerts, even though, I mean, we're doing that kind of stuff ourselves. Remember the fallen. Remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And if you served, thank you for your service. See you for more next time here at Homesteading Off the Grid, the absolute most amazing homesteading channel on the entire internet that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading.